Before you even step off the ship in Aruba, there's a few things you need to know or you're going to regret it later. I'm going to uncover the real reason why so many cruisers leave Aruba feeling a little disappointed and how you can turn your day into one you'll never forget. I'm going to point you towards some can't miss spots that deliver some real value, local authentic experiences that you'll still be talking about months later, and a few key moves that make all the difference. I'm going to help you travel smarter, spend your time better, and make Aruba one of the true highlights of your cruise. And just when you think you've seen everything, I'm saving the biggest Aruba surprise for last, something that even the most seasoned cruisers sometimes miss. So Aruba. Aruba is, if you haven't been there yet, it's a gorgeous island. Arguably, there's at least one, if not two beaches on Aruba that are pretty much always in the top 10 most beautiful beaches in the world kind of thing. There's a lot to see, there's a lot to do. Many cruisers miss the best part of Aruba. Why? They stick too close to the port. Many cruisers, they get off the ship, they wander around the immediate area, that port area, assuming they've seen Aruba. But the real treasures are a short ride away, but they are not at the port. Let's talk about some of the tourist traps near the dock. So you've got high-priced souvenir shops, and I use that term loosely, and they all sell the same thing. Hardly any of it's actually made in Aruba, and you could literally go past 10 shops and see the exact same thing in the same colors and the same shapes and sizes, all for the same price, arguably. Skip that nonsense. Restaurants at the port, in the port zone, you want to maybe stop in and have a drink or something like that, fine. Don't waste your time there. There are so many better places, and you don't want to miss out on some of this. The thing about it, you really have a limited time. You've only got a max of 8 hours, maybe 8 hours, sometimes 6 hours. So you got to have a plan. You got to have a clear plan, what you're going to do, how you're going to get there, when, where, why, and how to get back, okay? Don't just take the easy way out. If you take the easy way out and arguably you just walk around the port zone, or maybe even you just do one of the ship excursions, you're going to miss out on some amazing culture, beautiful beaches, the local vibe. I mean, amazing beauty, natural beauty, and the food. The food is amazing if you go to the right places. So let's talk about some smart moves when you step off that ship. First thing, skip the crowds, get off the ship as early as you can. If you've been on a cruise before, you know about the cattle call departure, okay? Aruba, thank God, is not a tender port. It's a port with a pier, so you pull right up to the pier. My suggestion, be standing at the door when they open it to allow people off, because within 10 or 15 minutes of them opening that door, as they need to get off the ship for those excursions, it's going to become a cattle call. So you got to, in my opinion, you got to either get off before them or wait an hour or 2 hours and get off after them, and then you miss a chunk of the day. So get off as early as you can. If they say the ship's going to arrive in port at 7:30, at 7 or 7:15, I would have already been done with breakfast, standing there at the door, waiting to get off the ship. A couple of reasons. One, that gets you through that port zone, that welcome area as quick as possible, because you don't have to fight the crowds. You can get to the taxis. You can get out of that area. Know your type of transportation. There are taxis there. For the most part, the Aruban taxis are pretty reliable. Prices do vary, so if you're going to take a taxi, cool. Make sure you talk with them about pricing. You agree upon a price before you ever step foot inside the cab. My suggestion is to get yourself an excursion. If you're going to do a local tour, things like that, but do it not through the ship. There's Viator, there's TripAdvisor, there's a lot of other places that you can get recommendations for amazing excursions that cost a fair amount less than the ship ones, and they have good ratings. Make sure you check the ratings of the provider. Make sure, the ratings are good. They're friendly. They're kind. They don't leave you in a bad part of town, things like that. But if you want to do an excursion, instead of just wandering the island with information about where to go, pick a good one. US dollars are accepted in Aruba. Bring small bills. Bring $20, $40 worth of ones and fives. You don't want to be flashing a huge stack of cash, but you want to be able to give them, if they want $5 and you haggle them down to $5, you want to give them $5. You don't want to pull out a wad of hundreds and, can you make change? Yeah, no. you got to give them exact change, okay? Particularly the local food and beach vendors, they're going to want exact change. They're gladly take American dollars. Internet can be spotty on the island, so download the maps so that you can view them offline. Google Maps offline works great, and it helps you stay oriented as to where you're going if you're going solo. All right, let's talk about beaches, okay? Because that's one of the things that Aruba is known for. Eagle Beach, constantly ranked one of the top 10, if not top 5 most beautiful beaches in the world. White sand, turquoise water, not overly crowded most of the time. It kind of depends, like if you're there during spring break, if you're there during the holidays, things like that, yeah, it's going to be crowded. But most of the time, there's been people about, but I wouldn't call it crowded. It's not crowded like, for those of you know what this means, but it's not crowded like Jersey Shore on 4th of July weekend. Arashi Beach, Arashi Beach, less commercialized, great for snorkeling. It's where a lot of the locals go. Locals don't really go to Eagle Beach much because there's too many tourists there. So they like to hang out at Arashi Beach. Bring your own shade if you're going to stay for a while, because there really aren't a whole lot of options vendor-wise to rent umbrellas. Baby Beach. Baby Beach is on the other side of the island. It's very shallow. It's calm. And it's really good for families, particularly with little ones who are not very confident in their swimming ability, or if it's the first time they've ever been in the ocean. You want to check this one out. Check out Baby Beach. Palm Beach, another beach that's usually ranked pretty high. Most beautiful beaches. I don't think it's as beautiful as Eagle Beach, but it is arguably more popular because that's where a lot of the resorts have been built up in that area. So there's a lot of resorts, a lot of water sports. There's a lot of restaurant options. If you love a good active beach, that's where you want to go. Now let's talk about some authentic Aruba experiences, okay? Visit the Alto Vista Chapel, okay? It's a peaceful, very scenic spot. A lot of cruisers overlook it because it's not on very many of your excursion tours. So if you're gonna go yourself, cool. Google it, figure out where it's at. Or if you're doing an excursion with, a non-ship excursion, and you have some say as to where the driver's going to take you, ask them to take you to the Alta Vista Chapel. Beautiful views, huge historical significance. Next, the California Lighthouse. A lot of tourists stop here because I think it's the tallest lighthouse on the island. Great photo ops, great landscape pictures. It's absolutely beautiful up there. It's not far from Arashi Beach, so you can do both. Head over to the Arashi Beach on the way back, stop at the lighthouse and check it out. Hit up some local snack stops. You want to try a couple of different things. So you want to try pastecchi, which is a very, very savory pastry. Anything fresh fish. If you like fish. If you don't like fish, then no. If you like beer, try Aruba's national beer. It's called Balashi, Balashi. There's a lot of roadside like snack trucks, like food trucks. Definitely stop and check out what they're serving. Head over to San Nicolas. Check out the street art. It's an area that's being revitalized, and the local artists have painted beautiful murals, several of them, all throughout the San Nicolas area. Definitely want to check it out. Some pretty easy, do-it-yourself excursion ideas. Taxiing a beach. Agree with the taxi driver on the fare. Just have them take you to Eagle or Arashi or Baby Beach. Simple, affordable, easy to do. You can also do like a half-day UTV or Jeep rental, like UTV four-wheeler. I personally do not like renting vehicles in foreign countries because I don't know the local driving customs. And I'm not even talking about just whether or not they drive on the left side or the right side of the road. I don't know how they drive. Are they super fast? Are they crazy? Or are they very slow and methodical? I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather let somebody else drive me. But if you want, you can, rent a UTV or Jeeps for a half a day or full day, whatever. You can tool around the whole island that way. Stop at the Aruba Aloe Factory. Do the tour there. It's short. It's a pretty cool stop. They teach you all about aloe, how, where the plant, obviously the aloe plant, how they process it and get it ready for purchase. And they have genuine Aruba souvenirs there, not just the normal, port shopping stuff, like actually, made by local craftsmen. Check out the Butterfly Farm. It's near Palm Beach. Very peaceful, family-friendly atmosphere. Lots of great photography opportunities. And just a really cool way to kind of relax after, whatever excursion you're on or whatever beach you're on. Let's talk about some spending and safety tips, okay? Be very wary of time creep. Aruba is very relaxed, that pace is very charming, but make sure you get back to the ship on time. Hello, Elio. Thank you for joining us today. Give yourself extra time, okay? Don't, if all aboard is 5 o'clock, yeah, personally, I make sure I'm back on board between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. I don't want to take that chance of missing ship's movement because that's expensive. It ruins the cruise. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Avoid overpaying for guided beach tours. A lot of times you can just, and when I say that, I mean when you walk out of that port zone, you're going to have 20 guys standing there telling you, oh, for $20 or $40, we'll take you to all the best beaches. Yeah, that's cool. But you can also walk 10 feet and go to the taxi and say, hey, how much is it going to cost me for you to take me to Eagle Palm and Baby Beach and wait for me while I'm at each one? Oh, $12, or whatever. But a lot of times it's going to cost less than half of what those excursion guys are going to get you for. The sun. Aruba sun, you're in the Caribbean, okay? So the sun down there is intense. Pack reef-safe sunscreen because Aruba is one of the places that requires that. Bring extra sunscreen. Bring a hat. If you like to snorkel or scuba, or if you just happen to have UV protective clothing, bring that. You'll be shocked at how quickly you'll get burned down there. So put on, sunscreen before you get off the ship. Put it on every hour to 2 hours while you're off that ship, while you're in that sun. You will thank me for that later. Stay hydrated. Bottled water. You can buy it. You can bring it from the ship. If you usually drink 2 or 3 bottles of water a day, drink 6 because you're going to be sweating. You're going to be moving. You really don't want to be dehydrated on a cruise ship. Torture, because you spend all this money to be dehydrated. No fun. All right, so here's the final surprise, that hidden gem that's near the port that I mentioned. I gotta say this right. Wilhelmina Park and Renaissance Marketplace. It's just a couple minutes walk from the ship. Very quiet, very scenic. Great for a place to just relax and unwind for that like last half hour or that hour before you get back on the ship. Okay. And there's also Flamingo Island. Well, it's usually reserved just for hotel guests. You can buy day passes. Sometimes they're not always available, but if you want to do that 6 months, 9 months, a year before your cruise, get online, check it out, see if you can buy a day pass because it's serene. It's an amazing experience. If you get lucky and your ship is slated to depart in the early evening, you'll have the opportunity to watch one of the most amazing sunsets that I think I've ever seen. Check out what time, your ship leaves port and then look to see what the time of, the sun sets. And if you get lucky and you're there during sunset, get your butt up to the top of the ship, as high up on the ship as you can, and grab yourself a drink, bottled water, whatever, your honey, grab a chair and just sit there and enjoy that sunset. It's the perfect ending to arguably one of my most favorite Caribbean islands to visit. If you treat Aruba like just any other port, it will be forgettable. But if you take just a few smart steps, the right beach, a little bit of local food, a taste of nature, you're going to be talking about this day many, many years after that cruise ends. Now that you know how to make the most of your time in Aruba, you're going to need to know how to explore Bonaire smartly. Because if you don't, you can miss some of the island's true hidden treasures, which I'm going to show you how to avoid in this next video. Right, Ilya?